Good day, everyone. This is Brian Brown from BrianGBrownOnline.com, coming to you with the third installment in the 3 Steps to Procrastination series. So the first day was just a 30,000-foot overview of the 3-step method. I call the G.A.P method, all caps, G.A.P. G standing for get your emotions in check, A standing for action, and P standing for permission. And we'll be discussing those in more detail in the videos to come. Yesterday we discussed the G, get your emotions in check. Today we're going to be discussing action. Now, before I start this conversation, it's going to seem like it's taking a different direction. Trust me on this. You're going to want to bear with me because I'm going to reveal to you some insights that are absolutely amazing. And if you grasp these insights, they are actually very life-changing. So let's start by talking about there's a 2,000-year-old text that is a religious text, and in that text it's just full of wisdom. And there are 3 passages out of that text that apply to what we're going to be talking about today. First of all, as a man thinketh, so is he. As a man thinketh, so is he. Number 2, take every thought captive. And number 3, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So what do all 3 of those have in common? They have thought, thinking, mind. When we look at taking action, yesterday we talked about getting your emotions in check, and that has to do with the mind and, becoming healthier and resonating at a more positive vibratory rate versus a negative vibratory rate. And I kind of went into a little bit more of the science yesterday, and I'm going to expand on that today. So when a person is stuck, they seem to be procrastinating. A lot of times it has to do with the state in which they're vibrating. Let me explain. I keep 1.5 liters of water with me at all times. I do about 2 of these a day. And this is just, in its physical state, this is just plain water. That's the name we've assigned to it. Chemists might call it H2O, But the bottom line is this is water. So what would happen if I were to turn this, put it in a boiler and put it on a stove top and turn the heat up? Well, it would start to simmer, and then it would start to boil. And so what would be the product that would come off? And you say, well, that's steam. Absolutely. And chemists call that an astral state. So when water converts into steam, it's an astral state. Now, there's something that's going on that you can't see that's above the steam and intermixed into the steam and outside the steam on the sides. And it's called ether, or the ethereal state. So that steam is so superheated that it is actually converting into a gas that can't be seen, it can't be heard, it can't be smelled, and it's just dissipating into the air to later come back into that droplet and become steam, and later become water and turn back into water. So keep this in mind as we go through this example, that those 3 states exist at all times. Water in its physical state, so the physical state. Then we have the astral state, and then we have the ethereal state. So keep that in mind as we go through this. You need to know too, it's like a rainbow in that there's no differentiation between the states. If you look at a rainbow, how many colors do you see? Well, the limited ability of the physical eye only sees a few colors. But there are millions, billions of color shades in that rainbow, and they graduate gradually one to the other. And you can't delineate by line which color is which. Your mind puts them in categories and says, okay, this is red, or this is violet, this is yellow, this is blue, this is orange. But there is no delineation there. They're all one and the same. They're just vibrating at different frequencies. So as we're going through this, think about this. Your ideas are no different than your actions. Now think about that for a second. Your ideas are no different than your actions, and your actions are no different than your ideas. I would even add that your ideas, your thoughts are no different than your outcomes, and your outcomes are no different than your thoughts. I mean, what is money? Look at money. Money is an idea that's expressed on paper. That's getting kind of archaic. It's actually expressed in a digital bank account. We actually don't handle much paper anymore. You ask somebody if you have cash, if they have cash on them, chances are they probably don't have much cash on them. Nobody carries cash anymore, hardly. But money is just an idea that has been manifest onto paper. So if I would argue that if water can exist in all three states at one time, if we can exist in all three states at one time, and by the way, there's scientific proof of that. There has been years ago, I'm talking about decades, there was a guy that developed a type of photography where he could photograph the aura of a person. And what he's doing is measuring the dissipation of cellular energy off of that human being. And he got so good at it that he could actually diagnose and treat people based on what the oral image said. So, but that's just a side note. But the bottom line is we're all energy. Our thoughts are energy. Our ideas are energy. The manifestations that they produce are energy. So if that's true, if we exist in all three states, our ideas exist in all three states, then money exists in all three states. It's there. It just hasn't manifested in the present yet. And all we have to do is change our thoughts, and our action will change along with it. How many times do you meet somebody that's in a bad relationship and they go, "Oh, my relationship is horrible. This is, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's never going to change." Well, guess what? It's never going to change. If you think it's never going to change, it's never going to change. But if you start thinking in the positive, if you start thinking that, there's hope for this relationship, things are going to change, things are going to turn around, and you start thinking about the positive things in that relationship versus the negative things in that relationship. And guess what? It changes you. It changes your attitude. Just like we talked about yesterday in getting control of your emotions, you have the conscious brain, the subconscious brain, and the body. The body responds to what the subconscious brain feeds it, and it responds to what the conscious brain has fed it from the environmental stimuli, all of our senses. So if that principle holds true there, then the same principle holds true here, in that if we change the stimuli that's coming into our conscious brain, our subconscious brain has to respond, and it will start reprogramming paradigms that were put in place years ago. In fact, experts say that most of the paradigms for your life are set by age 5, and they can be changed. They can be changed with action. They can be changed with thought. So we change our thinking, we change our action. So in order to overcome procrastination, in order to get moving, get action, start seeing results, we need to change our thought. We change our thought. Trust me on this. I've tested it. If you change your thinking, the universe will move heaven and earth to make that manifestation occur. I can give you example after example in my life to where I have moved in a direction in my head, and out of the clear blue, I'll get a phone call. In fact, this happened 3 weeks ago. I get a phone call from a guy I've never met before, and he said, "I'd love to take you to dinner, and here's why. I think we can work together. I've heard through other people what you do. I really love what you do, and we can work together." The potential for this contract is 6 figures. It's huge. And I didn't ask for it directly. I asked for it in that I changed my thinking. The universe manifested it. It was already there. It was just waiting for me to get my mind in line to be able to step forward. So action is a two-way street. It takes moving the universe through your thoughts, and it takes you stepping into that once that has been revealed. So I hope this helps you guys. Action is a hugely important point. The principles that I talked about here are hugely important, and they cannot be taken for granted. They're universal principles. So your brain is the most valuable real estate you have. Please, I beg you, please stop renting it out for free. Thank you. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.